Greetings. This is Arvat McLean of Speak, the Universe Listens.
Out there what it is that I want.
We cherish that. We love that particular piece of it because
Teach people like, hey, it's okay to change.
New ways to view age-old challenges. Change your thoughts, change your life. Step into the bigness of you.
How you think you are. 27 days to radically shift your thinking and upgrade your life. More wealth, health, love, and joy.
Your course is the first course that I don't mind repeating again and again and again.
Click on the link for the special offer or visit the website at www.arvetmclean.com. Greetings and welcome to Speak, the Universe Listens. And today's topic is Better Together. And I have Stephen joining me. Hey, Stephen.
Hey, how are you?
I'm terrific.
Awesome,
Good
awesome.
to see you.
Good to see you too.
I can't wait until we're back together again.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so better together. So, just in light of so many things that have happened in 2020,
Right.
and in the past month, in particular, with all of the, I guess, revived discussion around race issues, race relations, inequality and equality. There's just been so much emotions, so much action, and so much still a lot of helplessness and feeling helpless. And so I think this is a good topic, better together. So what do you want to say about that?
Oh man. In light of what's been going on, that what made me just come up with this topic because what I have seen and what we all have seen is it's been a huge divide. And the divide is pretty much something that's never gone anywhere. It's always been here. But we have so much breaking us apart as people, you know. We have religion, politics. So many of these things has been breaking us apart as a whole as to where we don't even understand what unity is anymore. And so I think if we were to sit back and take a look through our history, right? If we were to take a look through history, history can give us the answers as to what we're looking for in our present moment. So, for instance, with unity, we know what unity is. We have experienced unity, but the problem is now in the modern days, our mindsets are more set on every man is for himself. And so I think that is something that we really need to focus on. We really need to revise that and get to the point as to where if we were to work together, how much more progress we will be able to make. Because if you think about it, if you sit back and you look at the progress you have been making, um, just not as an individual, but just as a whole, we haven't really gone anywhere. We're still going in the same circle. So I think if we sit back and get rid of that mind frame, every man for himself, and start to sit back and unify, pretty much work together, we will be able to make a lot more progress in what we're trying to do.
Yeah, so I like that, the whole ideal of unifying. I think that everybody comes from a different perspective, and as many people as it's a different perspective for each person, and I think that makes sense.
Right,
I think where we get into trouble is when we're judging what other people's perspectives are, and we're not seeing value in their perspective. And it's okay to have your own and to not um, necessarily be in alignment with someone else's, but that doesn't make them wrong, just because you don't agree with their method. And I've been listening over the past couple of weeks about just the variety of things that people
right.
are saying, and a lot of it does often sound divisive, and it sounds like everybody's kind of pointing a finger at someone else. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's easy to do that. But I think what we could do, instead of pointing the finger and say, "Oh, that's not going to work," we can believe that that has value for them, and they can work on that, and that
Right.
the way that I'm working on it, it has value on this end. Like, everybody has a place, and everybody has value. And rather than poo-pooing what someone else is doing, you still can support them without necessarily having to be in total agreement with the method. Does that make sense?
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, that makes sense. You pretty much what you're saying is basically more of, okay, it's everybody has their own opinion, so as long as you're open minded to that, you can't really necessarily judge somebody to say that they're wrong in how they view, whatever their perception is. Um, but at the same token, even though your uh, point of view may be totally different from theirs, still at the same token, being able to sit back and be more understanding of where this individual is coming from.
Yeah, just knowing that everybody
Yeah,
has value and every position has value. Yeah,
right, right.
yeah.
I say, and I also, with everything that's going on, and like you just pinpointed with that, everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has their own view, and that's perfectly fine. That it is. That's perfectly fine. But when it comes to, I think, just getting everybody on the same page, I think that people need to sit back, and you said it yourself, we point the finger so much, but yet nobody really takes the responsibility for themselves to sit back and say, well, hey, you know what? I see things need to change. I recognize that things need to change. So how can I go about making a change? The issue that I've seen for myself, and this is my opinion, that everybody is looking for somebody to help them instead of being that leader and taking their role for themselves and saying, you know what, let me go ahead and be the example. Let me go ahead and show um, others how we can make a change. And slowly but surely, what that does is it creates more positive leaders. And so I think that's something that we are really missing out on. We're missing that perspective of unity, because when you make more leaders, then eventually you have no other choice but to unify, you know, and then whatever your goal is that you're trying to get to, at the end of the day, you're going to be more successful in accomplishing that goal.
Right, right. Because we all basically have the same goal. We all want the same thing. And
Right.
so, but everybody has a different way of what they think is the way to do it. And a lot of time, and I personally, I don't have any issues with, somebody working on it from the political standpoint, somebody working on it
Mm-hmm.
from a spiritual standpoint, somebody working on it, from the economic standpoint, like just different ways of working on it. Like, I'm totally with that. Um, and where I have my backup is when I hear people saying things like, that's never going to work. Don't put any faith in this. We've heard all of this before. So they're saying we don't have this and we don't have that and we don't have this and we don't have that. And so I find myself challenged with not being judgmental with people who seem like, even though I know they're speaking from a place of anger and pain and hurt and disappointment, and I know where they're coming from, I find myself challenged with not being in judgment of them, because I'm like, well, that's not helpful. What you're saying is not helpful. But if I can step back and be in a place of be non-judgmental, I can even see the value in that. And I was listening. I've listened to so many different things, but just yesterday I was listening to someone who was saying, we don't have this and we don't have that and da 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 da. So one of the things he had said was, there's no Black community that has the four necessities, that has a Black hospital, that has a Black school, that has a Black grocery store, and what was it, restaurant, school, store, and bank. And so I was like, is that true? Is that right? Because I know at a time in Richmond, Virginia, we had all of that. So we had the Community Pride grocery store. We had the the Richmond Community Hospital. We had Consolidated Bank and Trust. And then we have Virginia Union, which is a HBCU. And then my school was Nubian Village Academy, which was pre-K through 8th grade. So there was at one time all four of those things that the person identified as there being no Black community that has that. And so I was wondering, like, is that true? Is there no Black community that has that, or did they just generalize? But in that made me say, well, let me try to do some research on that. And, even though like his message to me was just like disheartening, it still served a purpose, because it now made me say, is that true? And if that's true, what happened? Because I know we had that in Richmond. We don't have that now. But what happened? And can we get it back?
Yeah, and I would say honestly, we can get it back. I know that we can get it back, because that's like what I was saying earlier before when it comes to our history. When you think about, it was a time in Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. Few people know about it, but I'm pretty sure for those who don't, Black Wall Street was a all Black community, and this community you had Black banks, you had Black lawyers, you had Black doctors, you had Black grocery stores. So that right there within itself shows that unity can exist. Unity hasn't gone anywhere. But what has broken that unity then was pretty much more of people coming in and breaking their spirit, as to where they burnt the whole entire community. Businesses that that Black people worked so hard for. So they tore the soul, the essence away of, dang, I made this, now it's gone. Now I have to start all over again. So it made them feel as to where it's like, I'm never going to be able to get ahead, And so in the present moment now with unity, I think that it's very, very possible for us to sit back and unify. And everybody is aiming for the same thing, but everybody just has different ways of going about it. But like I said before, it's just mainly everybody playing their role, everybody taking their part, from political to just civilians, to activists, leaders out here that are speaking up. I think everybody just needs to sit back. It can be the average man next door, Hey, you know what's going on. You know what the problem is. So if you recognize the problem, what part can you play to fix things, to better? Yeah, your voice may not be heard through the millions, but like I said before, if you can sit back and you can create another leader and aiming for the same goal that we all are aiming for, it's possible that change can come, and it's possible that we can get back to that unity that we once had. I'm not even gonna say once had, that we still have, but we're just trying to actually fully get back to it. It sort of bugs me that everybody has this every man for himself mentality, the selfishness. And I remember, with my grandma, I remember her telling me stories of how the community, it wasn't one family that raised a child, it was the whole community that raised one child. You know, everybody was sitting back. If that child did something wrong, you best believe Miss Susan next door, she's gonna make sure that she would discipline over the same way as she would discipline. You know, so we really need to just understand that we can get back to unity, but everybody just need to take their own part in finding out what they can possibly do and just go about doing this.
Yeah, I agree. Unity definitely. I don't see where every man is for himself. Like the
Mhm.
communities that I'm aware of, everybody always helps each other, and it's always this thing of this is what other people are doing. Other people aren't unified. We're unified. Other people aren't.
Okay, I give
So
you that.
I always hear that. Like I hear that same story that you told about your grandma, what your grandmother say.
Hmm.
I've heard that story, a million times probably in my lifetime or whatever.
Right.
Everybody wants that. Everybody feels that. Um, so I don't think that there are people who are like, I'm just for myself. I don't really think it's those people. It might be one or two.
Hmm.
But in general, I think that we all want the same things and we all want to move in the same direction. We just have different ways of going about it. And I think also there has been so much heartbreak. There is a
Right.
lot of anger, resentment, disappointment, like I said. And it was very interesting to me. I watched a Oprah Winfrey special. She had like a 2-day special, and it was called
Uh-huh.
Where Do We Go From Here, or something to
I
that
watched a
effect.
little bit of that. Right.
Right. And so she had, like, I guess they were supposed to be experts in the field. And it was so interesting to me that most of them really didn't have any real suggestions. Most of the stuff was very general. And I was like really taken because in our community, the Speak to Universe Listens community, I had put
Right.
out a call, so to speak, of people to say, well, what would you think to do? What from a place of reimagining this thing, what would you
Right.
reimagine? And the things that the people say they would reimagine was way more, I guess, forward thinking than what the
Straight to the
people on
point.
Oprah said. What the people on Oprah said. But I think that was because we were coming from a place of, because when we come from a place of anger and helplessness, that does constrict us.
Right.
Like possibilities and options, they don't come to our mind. But when we're coming from a place of, well, what would I love? Like, do I have to fix this broken system? Or do I want to recreate something else that's totally different from anything we've seen before? And what would that look like? And so
Mhm.
in that, it was like a lot of creative ideals, suggestions and things that I felt like, I can go out and do this right now, you know,
Yeah.
versus like these huge sweeping things like, um, okay, we need to make sure poor people get the food and legislation and the money that they need. Like that's too big for me. Like I don't know how to do
Right.
that, or the eradicate racism out of the system. I don't know how to do that. Like that's too big for me. But if I have
Right.
specific things that I can work on today, that feels different in my body. It makes me feel hopeful and like it's something that I can do.
I totally agree with you. I would tell you, with my part, what I do is I sit back and I always keep it in mind when I run into, you know, anybody, and it could be somebody, a person that's the same as me, as myself. I make sure that I always, if they ask for help, if there's any way that I can teach them, and give them the information that they need, I will do so. That's something that, like, I made that commitment for myself, because I know, as an individual, as a Black man, I would want somebody to sit back and show me, help me, guide me. If I don't know something, explain it to me, give me the whys, so that way I can be more helpful, not just for myself, but for the next individual. And so that's something that I make sure for my part. And even though it's something very, very small, it may be small to somebody else, but even though that's something that's very, very small, later on down the road, it plays a big, big role in somebody else's life, which you never know. You might be might be talking to the next billionaire. You just never know. That small role you played in their life, you really helped them. And so that's something that I take part of. So I think everybody takes their own little role to bettering the community and getting to this point of getting back to strong unity.
Mhm. I like that too, what you said about each one helping someone. Like, in my head, I feel like we are all powerful creators, and that
Right.
the only help that we really need is to
Hmm.
realize that we are powerful creators. Like,
There you
because
go.
all of us have the power to make the changes that need to happen in our lives. Like, we have that power, but we just forgot. We just don't remember that we have it. And even those of us who are like, okay, we got this power, like, we still forget, you know,
Exactly.
we still have to
Exactly.
be reminded. But like the same guy that I was saying about how he just felt so angry and so
Uh-huh.
divisive. Another thing he said was, he said that any institution, any organization that creates $250,000 or more a year, they should have a bank.
Mm.
And you know, that kind of stuck in my head. And so, of course, then I started researching, how do you start a bank or
Right.
whatever. But it's like little things that you can glean from anybody. Like, even people that you think they're totally going down the wrong track. And so that's one of the reasons why I say it's so important to stay non-judgmental and to remember that everybody is serving a purpose. Everybody is here expanding the universe. Everybody's here expanding what's possible for us. And
Right.
even if it doesn't look like that in that moment, that is what
Mhm.
they're doing. And so his little nugget made me go, how do you start a bank? And then, to me, the ideal would be, okay, well, now that I'm researching how to start a bank, well, then let me start teaching classes on
Right.
how to start a bank.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, hey, it's just the same as with what I like to do. Basically, just showing people that they have power. Teaching them, hey, look, this is how you go about doing X, Y, Z, right? Or if you read this, or if you just have an open mind to something new, then hey, maybe things will start to change for you. But just by doing that, I realized I had somebody that taught me. I had plenty of teachers and role models and mentors, and I took a lot of their advice. And when I did, it just made me sit back and think to myself, okay, so now that I got this information, how can I utilize this information? I just can't keep it to myself. Yeah, I can apply it for myself, but now that I apply it for myself, let me give this back. Let me share it with or speak with the universe listeners. Let me share it with our fans.
Exactly. So yeah, I think that's what it's all about. Each one, teach one, pull one up.
Exactly.
Um, Try to stay in a space of non-judgmental. Try not to judge other people as wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing that there's value in what everyone has to say, and there is like a particular call to action. Like, when I listen to and I'm not gonna say which one it is because I don't want to, you know,
Yeah.
shed any type of energy towards it. But it's a particular call to action that is going around, and in my brain, it's like I don't even see the point. But
Mhm.
if we all do it, even though what they're saying is the point, I don't know
Mhm.
that that would happen. But if we all do what they asked us to do, it would show such a huge amount of unity, and that in itself would be the point. Like
Mhm.
that would be the
Right.
point. And so there are different calls to action. I've just been participating in everything, just because I want to support it, even though I might not necessarily think that that's going to have an effect, but I support it anyway, just to be a part of, um, as you say, like the unity, being together, togetherness, working
Right.
together. We're all heading in the same direction anyway. So even if I think that the way that you're doing it might not be the way I would choose to do it, but I'm still going to support you in
Right.
how you're doing it.
Because basically we all aiming for the same goal.
Yes. All right. So thank you so much for this conversation.
Yes, I enjoyed it. I
Yes.
enjoyed it.
All right. I look forward to talking to you soon. And I look forward to talking to the whole Speak the Universe Listens community soon.
Right.
I always love having a chance to talk. And I'm so thrilled that the whole team has decided to keep moving forward during the quarantine and social distancing, and recording from where you can. So as you can see, I'm recording from my car, but um yeah, we're gonna make it happen, because it's
Make
like
it happen.
one of the joys of our lives. Like we love talking about this stuff. So thank you for listening. And also I wanted to mention too that I have a course. It's a 27-day course. It's called How You Think You Are, and it's 27 days to radically shift your thinking and to upgrade your life. And so if you are interested in changing the quality of your thoughts and upgrading your life, it's an excellent course to get. So check me out at arvetmclean.com. I look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Mm.
Bye.
Bye.